Welcome everybody back to BoomTube for tonight's stream of the Thursday Night Nitro Series. We're here in Newton, Iowa, normally a quiet little farm town, but tonight we invade with the Thursday Night Nitro field to bring a little bit of racing culture to a town normally occupied with agriculture. Iowa Speedway is a 7/8 mile speedway with varied banking degrees at lower banking at 12 degrees at the bottom, all the way up to 14 degrees of banking at the top. That's going to create multiple lanes of racing this evening, and we should have a good show on deck for you. Drivers entering the track right now for qualifying, coming right up in a moment. Hang on with us as we get the stream ready to go, and we are hopefully will deliver some awesome racing action here at this short track in the heartland of the United States. We've got quite a few storylines on deck here at Iowa tonight. Coming off week number 1 at Talladega Super Speedway. What an exciting race that was, with Alex Wiggins taking the victory very narrowly over Devin Maines. If any of you followed along with us last season, you'll see that right off the bat we're reviving that 5-11 rivalry, carrying it over from last season. We saw those two drivers tangle on track throughout the previous season in the trucks, and that's carrying over here to the ARC Series in 2025. We'll see what tonight has in store for those two drivers as we get going with qualifying. Drivers starting to trickle out onto the racetrack, starting to put down laps here at Iowa Speedway. A lot of different lane choices here at Iowa. I mentioned before, the varied banking from the top to the bottom. That's going to create a lot of different options for these drivers, not only in qualifying, but as the race progresses as well. We'll see those lines start to rubber in from the inside to the outside, and as the race goes on and transitions to the nighttime, we'll see the speeds increase, and I think we'll see the action increase as well. Not only the top battle was exciting last week, there was a bit of heartbreak for a few drivers as well. We mentioned a few drivers out of the running early on. Ryan Bailey, one of them, to suffer early tragedy last week in that lap 3 wreck. Looking for a bit of redemption this week as they find themselves toward the bottom of the team points together with his teammates. And speaking of teams, we got some team standings to worry about as well. Currently, Longshot Motorsports. You remember the 14 and the 31 who dominated most of the race last week. Crank Bell in that number 14 machine leading most of the race. I believe 47 laps last week at Talladega Super Speedway. They're leading the team points with 70. And right behind them is Snake River Racing with 69. Quite a close battle between the top 4 teams. That's Longshot, Snake River Racing, BDM, and Team Highlands Racing, all within 10 points of each other. We'll see how that shakes out this week. Of course, Alex Wiggins with that victory last week. He's on top of the individual points right now, followed right behind by Devin Maines. 3rd place, Jake Doffing. 4th, Aaron Mack in that 31. Dan Jensen in the 29 had a bit of a recovery last week, up to P5 at the end of the race. Randall Peasley with a strong start to the season as well. He brought it home P6 last week. Max Bauman, the number 89 machine for Team Highlands Racing, was P7. Crank Bell, after a wreck on the last lap, ended up P8. Kenny Reel, P9. And Robert Eagle, P10. Expecting the times to be down in the 22-second range on fresh tires this week. averaging somewhere in the low 23s over the course of the long run. Expect to see somewhere in the 22.7 to 22.8 range for qualifying. We'll go ahead and get those qualifying results up for you as the session ends. Yeah, if you have a look at your screen right now, hold on, we'll get that back up to the top of the page. Aaron Mack takes that first spot, carrying over from that strong week last week. He puts the number 31 on the pole with a 22.775. Absolutely blistering fast lap for the driver of the number 31 machine. Max Bauman, also another strong qualifying lap. If we saw him in, I believe, P2 last week in qualifying as well, he's just 9 thousandths behind. We see a pretty tight field top to bottom. Only 3/10 separate first through 18th. Zach Miller's going to roll off P3. Dan Jensen, P4. Josh Emerson's going to be P5. Tristan Rhodes going to be P6. Robert Eagle, P7. Crank Bell, P8. Jake Doffing, P9, and Alex Wiggins rounds out the top 10 in qualifying. Give us just a moment. Hopefully we get the names up here fixed. We got a bit of a mix of first and last name and just last names. We'll try to remedy that as soon as possible. As the drivers are out here for a warm-up before we get our race session going. Go ahead and keep tabs on the left side of your screen. Who's fastest in this session? Give you an idea of who's looking to set a good pace right off the bat. We already see drivers. We see some on the high lane, turn one, some in the mid lane, some in the low lane. It's going to be a night of different options. It's a bit of tire strategy. Expect the fuel run to be about 75 to 80 laps, depending on how hard the drivers decide to push things. I think if we see green flag runs, we should see quite a few comers and goers. I know the guys have practiced this track pretty extensively throughout the week. Others not so much, so I think as some of those drivers get the hang of things, as you see right here, turn 4 is going to be a bit treacherous. Depending on the line you're taking through turn 4, it can be very unsettling for the back end of the car. These guys are going to be trying to remedy that with brake bias and things throughout the course of the race to keep that tire wear under control on the right side of the car. Expect the right sides to wear pretty severely. Left sides, not so much. I had a couple of drivers report to me over the course of their practice runs of about 80 laps or so that the left side tire is still right around the mid to low 90% mark. So expect those left sides to be pretty fresh even at the end of the run, maybe opening the door for some two-tire strategy at the end. We'll have to see if those drivers are willing to roll the dice there and take that track position risk. Drivers starting to trickle out on the racetrack. We'll go ahead and go through the lineup for you as they get rolling out for the pace lap one more time. Rolling off P1, the 31 of Aaron Mack. P2, Max Bauman starting to his outside. Inside row 2, rolling off P3 is going to be Zach Miller in the number 38. P4 to his outside is going to be Daniel Jensen in the 29. Josh Emerson in the number 73, making his return here. He's going to roll inside row 3. Jake, sorry, that's not right. There we go. Number 20, Tristan Rhodes, going to start outside row 3. Inside row 4, P7, going to be Robert Eagle. Crank Bell rolling off to his outside in P8. Jake Doffing inside row number 5, rolling off P10. Dylan Schultz, P11. And Cody Schultz, the number 30, is going to be rolling off P12. Alan Blue, P13. Brad Yake, P14. We are getting ready to go green, and green flag is in the air. Great start for Bauman on the outside. You see Aaron Mack sends it down to the inside. Bauman's going to have the momentum on the outside. We'll see if he can keep it together in that 31 on the bottom. Fresh tires, cold tires, going to be a little bit loose to start the race. The driver's going to have to be careful to keep the car underneath him as they're pushing hard to try to maintain that track position. Still side by side for the lead. Bauman outside. Mack to the inside. Mack's going to clear off turn 2. And here comes the number 29, Dan Jensen to the inside as well. Down hard into turn number 3. Goes Jensen. Not going to have the momentum to complete the pass here. He tucks back in line in 3rd position. Things settling down for the lead for just a moment. Just behind them, we got a 3-wide battle between Emerson, Doffing, and I believe that'll be Robert Eagle in the 9. He backs out of this battle as Emerson and Doffing still going at it for P5. Big moment there for the 73. Gets really loose on the inside. Things starting to settle out here for this spot, but up here it is still a strong battle for P2 as Dan Jensen still keeps on the attack against the 89 of Max Bauman, trying to get that P2 spot. Outside momentum proving to be too much so far. You notice track's still pretty green, so that bottom might take a little bit of time to wear in quite enough to make passes like that happen early on. And seeing the outside lane very strong in the early going. Back here it's Schultz and Eagle going for that 5th spot. Eagle has it. Schultz wants it. Big moment, almost touching off of turn 2. Eagle's going to take that spot for now. Schultz going to slide back in line, P6. Crank Bell behind them, strong last week. We see Zach Miller starting to fade behind him just a little bit, losing some track position early. Expect that number 14 to be in the competition throughout the race. Definitely one of the more strategic minds in the field. We've seen him show up late race a lot of times last season. I wouldn't be surprised to see it again today. Dylan Schultz joining the field this week in the number 03 Toyota Camry. On track now, battling with Jake Doffing, going for that 9th position, solidly inside the top 10. A good start to the day so far for the 03 machine. Behind them, side by side, team Royal Pegasus Motorsports teammates, the 23 Alan Blue, 33 of Greg Burchett, both going at it for that P12 position. Kenny Reel's going to take that from Greg, and he's going to go for his second one. He dives down to the inside of the 23 in turn 3. See if he can make it stick off the corner. Not quite. Blue gets in the fence just a little bit. Reel still alongside in the 88. Trying to clear this time, just gets by the 23. One of the first passes we've seen on the bottom side. A lot of speed early out of that number 88 machine. Field starting to settle out just a little bit. We got a battle between Brad Yake and Brian Tarnowski back here. The 28 of Tarnowski and the 1 of Brad Yake. Yake with strong speed during practice all throughout the week. Should have a good amount of pace throughout the race today. Told me a bit of his strategy, looking to take it early, conserve that tire as much as possible, and try to work his way, pick his way through the field one by one as the green flag run rolls on. 31 of Mac falling down through the field. I believe maybe a disconnect issue? No, not. Okay. Bit of a moment of panic. Just a software glitch on our timing and scoring for a moment. Nothing to worry about. Still in the lead by just a couple of car lengths over the 89 and the 29. Both still hungry to put a move on that 31. We'll see what they do if they try to make it happen now and potentially risk a little bit too much tire degradation throughout the run, or if they're going to be happy to just ride behind him for now. We'll see. Caution is out here on lap number 16. Let's take a look at the replay. Heading back, we'll see Ryan Bailey possibly involved, as well as Dalton Brewington, the number 7. We'll go back and take a look. Looks like nowhere for the 10 of Bailey to go. Very similar to last week. We see him pile in just a little bit. We'll see if we can rewind just a bit more and see what happened leading up to this event. See Peasley and Rhodes both battling just in front. Looking like Rhodes might have got a little help here coming off of turn 4. 63 drifts up. He drifts down a little bit. Not quite sure who to call on that one. Both drivers possibly could have left a little more space for each other here in the early going. And unfortunately, we see the 10 of Ryan Bailey with nowhere to go. We'll see what happened with Dalton Brewington. Might have had a disconnect due to some network issues. We'll see if he was involved at a different point in time. Seeing as he jumped to the pits, I believe it might be network issues. Oh, there we see Brewington involved as well. Piled into the 10. The 10 might not have been aware he was there, might not have had a choice in the matter. The 10 might be able to continue having some right side damage to the door. The 7 looks pretty beat up. It's going to be a long day for him. A little bit of right front damage. Wheel looking straight on the number 10 machine, though, so he'll likely be able to continue without too much issue. Back up front, we'll see if the leaders decide to pit. 4 tires. Don't look like it's going to happen this time. Tire wear fall off isn't that much. Expect about half a second over the course of 75 to 80 laps. Starting out at probably a 22.8, 22.9 on fresh tires, falling down to a 23.4 to 23.6 towards the end of the run, as long as you save enough tire. Although some of these drivers will be looking to cash in on track position as early as possible, possibly sacrificing a little bit of tire life to get some of that track position early on after the restart. Lessons learned here for the 31 and Mac. Started to the inside at the race start. He's going to start to the outside on this restart, seeing the great launch that the 89 of Bauman got on that start, and the momentum the outside lane has been able to carry. I'd say that's a pretty wise decision. Pace car is off. In through the Geico restart zone, we are underway again. Great start for Mac. Bauman's going to be able to clear Emerson for the second spot handily and set his sights on the lead car of Aaron Mack. Cars fanning out back around 10th position. We got the 03, the 38, the 88, and 13 all in the mix. Back here battling for 7th through 10th spots. Dylan Schultz in the 03 on the inside of Zach Miller, trying to make that pass happen for the 8th spot. Still alongside to the inside. If he's going to do it, he's got to do it quick. Still not quite enough. He's going to have to tuck in line and potentially give up that position. Early lift for the 38. That'll give him another shot at it. Nowhere to go with Robert Eagle right in front of him either. See a bit of a block there out of the 9 up on the 38. Kenny Rio looking to make it 3 wide. He sticks it to the inside of 03 off of turn 4. He's going to get alongside now. Down to turn 1, still 88 to the inside, 03 to the outside. This is a battle for 9th, still tight off the corner, side by side, door to door. Drive off the corner is very hard to come by coming off of turn 4. There's a bit of a patch towards the entrance of pit lane where there just isn't a whole lot of grip on that bottom lane. And it does tend to shoot the car towards the high side of the track if you're not careful. And you see Kenny having to get out of the throttle pretty significantly there and yield that spot back to Dylan Schultz. Robert Eagle falling back a little bit as the 38 pounds the fence off the 4. No significant damage there, maybe a little bodywork damage. He'll continue on, no problem. And he'll actually get a little bit of ground on the 9, possibly making that pass for the 7th spot. He will. That 38 starting to move forward through the field. He's setting his sights on Dan Jensen now. Jensen losing a couple spots off the restart. Gets passed by his teammate, Cody Schultz in the 30. Sure, that's not a problem. Teammates working together. It's very early in the race to be making any sorts of crazy blocks or fighting overly hard for position, but the drivers know as the run goes on, it's going to be even harder to pass, so they're getting all they can while those tires still have some meat on the bone. Or corn on the cob, if you will, since we're in Iowa. So I'll shout out everyone here in the live stream chat, just pulling this up here. Been working out some technical things behind the scenes, trying to get everything straightened out so we'll have a smooth broadcast throughout the remainder of the race. As, man, it is a tight battle through these spots as the 03 doors the 38. 38 forced to take a really shallow line into turn 3. Still holding his ground, though. We'll see if he's got the momentum off the corner. Not quite enough to hold that spot, but he's holding off Kenny Reel for now. We've seen that 38 go forward, but now he's kind of trapped on the inside. That's going to kill the momentum a little bit. We saw him making moves on the outside, gets trapped on the inside, now starting to falter just a little bit and have to give up some spots. Still side by side for that spot. No one willing to give an inch. Everyone kind of trying to fight for the middle lane on the racetrack. We'll see if that lane gets even higher. Throughout the night, you might see drivers... Oh, as we see a wreck, 88 Kenny Reel goes around. Gathers it back up. I don't think any serious damage there, but definitely a major moment there in the early going for the 88. Yeah, let's go back and take a look at that moment. That was a big moment there for Kenny. Battling for the 8th spot at the time. So he sends it down into the turn. Maybe just cuts a little bit too much off the 38. 38 not taking quite as low of a line as he may have thought. Just barely grazes the front bumper of the 38, and around he goes. And I think he might actually get saved here with this second bump. See, completely sideways, gets a second bump to the front end, and that's going to straighten him right back out. So a little bit of, hey, I'm sorry, let me help you out here. And everyone continues on their way without any damage. That's what we like to see. We're okay with cautions as long as everybody's still able to continue. Lap 32, about halfway, a little less than halfway through a fuel run. Fuel run, as we mentioned earlier before the broadcast, probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 to 80 laps. Of course, that could be extended slightly as we get a few cautions. So this is just shy of about halfway on a fuel run. We'll see if any drivers' lucks come in this time. Lap 30, still pretty early in the going for tire life. But we saw some pretty hard racing in the middle of the pack. And guys trying to hold their ground on the inside might have been spending a little more of that right side tire rubber on these general tires. Maybe a little more than they want to. We'll see if anyone takes a gamble early just to see what they're worth. Now is the time to do any experimentation, if you're so inclined. See Ryan Bailey trying to make it to pit lane. Gets a little bit out of shape. I'll be coming down for some right front damage repair. Maybe some tires on that number 10 machine. So far, no takers for the leaders. Bully Dog Coffee in the chat cheering on the number 5. Let's go ahead and see if we can't track down Devin in that number 5. Currently P14 on track. Let's see if we can get trading paints to work properly, because I believe he should have Bully Dog Coffee on board this week, if I'm not mistaken. Go ahead and synchronize those paints one more time, see if that won't fix for us. Green flag back in the air here on the restart. Lap number 35. Aaron Mack out to a decent lead before turn one once again. Max not letting him get away quite as much this time as we see the caution come out yet again toward the rear of the field this time. Pile up, we got the 46 and the 1 back here looking like they're having some issues. Up here, wow, quite a gaggle of cars in the rear of the field. I'm willing to bet we see the 46 up the middle. That'll be Mike Morkred and the City Chevrolet machine there. We'll go ahead and pop this in slow-mo. We'll see what happens. Looks like Morkred just gets down into the nose of the 88. Oh, and that hard impact to that left rear of the 1. Nowhere for him to go. No fault of his own. Gets a piece of the 63 of Peasley as well. Not what you want to see, especially on a restart and this early in the race. Eventful 37 laps so far, as we've seen one caution after another for the past few laps. We'll see if we can get a little bit longer of a green flag run this time. Indeed, definitely a tough break for the number 1, having been involved in the lap 3 incident last week as well. Hopefully not terminal damage for that car. We'll have to see if he makes it back out on track. Make up some positions this week. Looks like Tristan, number 20, unfortunately got a meatball flag. That car is going to be too damaged to do much else today. Another unfortunate week. Back to back. A lot of shared luck between the 20 and the 1 so far this week. You hate to see it quite this early on in the running. Hopefully can get back out on track sooner rather than later. Always spots to be made up as long as your car is capable of continuing. No blown engines or anything like that. Bullet Out Coffee, I'm going to have you maybe refresh the page as far as on a preview, and I think everybody else is getting sound from the broadcast as far as I'm aware. If I get someone else to confirm, that would be excellent. I've seen some back and forth with things I've said in the chat, so I'm thinking other people are able to hear me. All right, thanks, Andy. All right, getting ready to fire off. Pace car is off. 31 to the outside, Bauman to the inside. So you head to the Geico restart zone off of turn 4. Great fire off for the 31 again. Bauman not quite so good on the inside this time. He doesn't clear for a second just yet. Still got Dan Jensen hanging on the outside. Jensen with that momentum on the high lane. Bauman just clears, puts a slider on Jensen. Battle behind them for 4th. We got Alan Blue up here in the mix in the top 5 for the first time today. 03 absolutely hanging it out there on the outside. What a massive run there for Dylan Schultz. Strong pace out of this 03. Got stuck in the mid-pack for quite a while, but he's got his sights set on 3rd place now. Oh, no. Has to back out of it. Just a little bit too much entry speed that time. Costs him some momentum. And here comes the 11. Last week's winner, Alex Wiggins, to the inside off of 4. Excellent battle going on for that third spot, rather. O3 looking for any kind of advantage on the 29. Might have to make that outside lane work on him. That inside lane not happening right there. Not able to get enough air on the nose of that car to make it stick. But now he's got an opportunity on the inside as a caution flies once again. Take a look back at the replay here. Hopefully get an idea what went down. We got a 3-wide battle back here between the 1333 and I believe that's 42 to the outside. Not sure who is involved just yet. Watch along with me. Hopefully we can figure this out. Oh, just a bit too much of a turn down there for the 16. Gets into the door of the 13. Both of them go through for a ride through the infield grass. So that trouble is going to be between the 16 and I believe that was the 13 of Jake Doffing as well. Cautions continuing to breed more cautions here at Iowa. As we finally start to see some takers on pit lane. Some of the leaders, I see the 23 Allen Blue going down for service. Quite a few in pit lane. We see Aaron Mack pitting out of the lead. Max Bauman as well. Dylan Schultz joins them as well as others. We got Zach Miller and Dan Jensen also coming off of pit lane. Bit of a shuffle between the leaders, I believe. We'll see once they're out on track who came out first. I believe Bauman might have jumped a couple spots in the pits. He might lead them after pit stops. Good execution there by the 89. I believe picks up 2 spots. And, yeah, we'll have to go back and see. Apologies to Bully Dog Coffee. I believe the number 5 might not have equipped the paint to his league paint, trading paint, so we're still seeing the TVRS scheme from last week, even after the re-download of all the paints. And we are seeing other paints up to date. 7 sporting a new paint this week. The 1 had some paint changes. It looks like might not have taken correctly. This could be Alex Wiggins leading them to this restart. Elects to stay out, keep that track position. The same with Crank Bell just behind in the 14. This ought to be a good battle between these two. First time we've seen them out front today. 14's been quiet so far today, just kind of biding his time, hanging around the top 10. Not really making any noise, keeping the nose clean, keeping the tires intact. Josh Emerson in the 73 making another showing inside the top 5 as well. Cody Schultz in the 30. Barry Knapp in the 42 making his way up through the field. Good to see that number 42 up here as well. Strong showing so far. For the Snake River Racing boys so far in the race. All of them inside the top 10 currently. Looking possibly to take over that P1 spot. We'll have to see how the team points shake out this week. Try to get those posted on the YouTube page. But For now, we're going back green. Alex Wiggins leads him to the start. He fires off the Geico restart zone. He's able to clear the 14 before turn 1 on the inside, so take note of that for later. Excellent fire off there for Wiggins. Battle's going to be for second. Emerson clears the 14 for second off of 2. Back behind them, we got Barry Knapp, Kenny Reel on the outside. We'll see if Reel's got the momentum. He's got to back off a little bit mid-corner, but he does get the fender there. He's even coming off the corner. Might clear him before turn 1. And he does move that number 88 up to P3. Oh, big impact. 42 into the 30. Massive damage for both cars. Big accident at the front, taking out several. Carnage continues here in Iowa. Take a look what happens here. It looks like the 30 just breaks loose on entry. Maybe a little too much rear brake bias. 88 tries to get it woed down, going low. We see a big check up behind. Take a look on the high side. The 42's checking up. Thinks he's out of harm's way. Then the 30 comes a hard right back up the racetrack. You see the 28 of Tarnowski on the bottom getting tangled up with the 9 as well, and it just devolves from there. Into more wrecks. You see the 9 pounds the fence very hard. You see the 5 get spun around. Doesn't look like serious damage for him, but man, several cars involved. 89 of Bauman. Looks like he's going to have severe front damage. Same with the 9, the 42. Many fast front runners involved in this wreck. That turns this whole race on its head. Lots of wrecked race cars on pit lane. You see the 42, the 28, the 89 making it down pit lane. Front end missing off that. You see left front askew on that Team Highlands Racing machine for Bauman. Devin Maines looks like a bit of incidental damage, not too much. As long as the steering's straight, I don't think he should have too much issue getting back out on track. Same with the 63 of Peasley. Saw a little bit of right front damage just get fixed on that machine. Barry Knapp elects to go back out. Missing the front end, but the steering's straight, so they're trying to keep as much track position as possible. Big implications in that wreck for quite a few front runners. You hate to see it this early on. That'll be, I believe, all 4 Team Highlands Racing cars involved. Had the 7 out early due to a wreck, as well as the number 1. And now the 89 and the 9 involved as well. Still out front is the 11 of Wiggins, followed by Josh Emerson in the number 73 Bridgestone tire machine. Crank Bell in P3 and Kenny Reel P4, the 4 survivors of that incident. Dylan Schultz narrowly escaping just ahead of that. 29 and 31 making it through, as well as Zach Miller. Well, with that incident comes plenty of opportunity for some drivers farther down the running order to make a pretty good point stay out of today, and I'm sure several of these guys definitely looking to make that happen after pretty bad starts to their series run last week at Talladega. Wiggins electing to restart on the inside again. We'll see if it works for him yet again as we get ready to go back green flag racing on lap number 53. Pace truck is going to pull off. And he fires off. Great start from Emerson on the outside. He stays even with the 11 entering turn 1. Will he have the momentum to stay there? Fires it down inside. He's unfortunately probably going to get the bumps on the top. He holds it, though. Still alongside the 11 off of 2. Wiggins buries the nose of the 11 into turn 3. Off of turn 4, still door-to-door, but it's a 73 with momentum. He's going to clear for the lead. Josh Emerson to the lead in the 73 over Alex Wiggins. As Kenny Reel and Crank Bell go at it for third. Wiggins not done yet, showing the nose to the outside. Emerson for the lead. Bit of a different line for the 11 through the corner. Drifts up a little bit higher in the middle, then cuts it back down for exit. Gives him a strong run off the corner. He does it yet again here off of turn 4. That's going to give him position on the outside. They're going to be door-to-door as they cross the stripe. Outside lane continuing to be the place to be to make passes, it would seem. Caution flag comes out again. Dan Jensen involved. Go ahead and take a look at the incident. Looks like possibly into turn 1. See if it happens with this group. Just comes down across the nose of the 5. Might not have known he was to the inside. A late spotter call, perhaps. Doesn't look like too much damage there. Got the car stopped. I don't think that should be too much issue for the 29. Might have a little bit of right rear damage, but that shouldn't affect his race car too much. Leader at the time of the caution was the 73, narrowly edging out the 11. As the caution lights turned on around the racetrack. It's like the number 10 of Ryan Bailey going to get the wave around here to get one of those laps back. Currently running P16, looking to make a bit of a recovery after a bad run last week. Got hit by that early accident and penalty after the fact. Couple cars in the rear of the field to see Bauman, Jensen, Doffing, and others hit pit lane, get some fresh tires on. I think Bauman might be able to continue. Car definitely isn't pretty, but the steering and all the wheels and tires look straight. Same with the 42 of Barry Knapp. Looks like they might still be able to salvage a decent day out of it. Especially if we keep getting cautions, it might be able to squeak in just a little bit of damage repair here and there. as they get lined up side by side, ready to fire off once again. Going to be Josh Emerson to the inside of Alex Wiggins on this restart. Geico restart zone. Good fire off on the inside from Emerson. Wiggins gonna have to surrender that outside. Sliding up in front of him is Emerson down into turn one, taking that high lane. Kenny Reel sticking it way on the inside through turn two. Side by side for a second is the battle now as Emerson scoots away by 3 car lengths. Kenny Reel still trying to make it happen on that bottom lane. Side by side, momentum to the outside though. We got the 11 and the 14. 14. Frank Bell looking to follow the 11 through as the 11 clears 88. Coming off of turn 2, Bell is there. Reel still holding the inside. Bell moves down half a lane. Still not able to get there. Kenny Reel still hanging on to that 3rd spot. Just behind them, that 31 car starting to make a bit of a resurgence into the top 5. He's 5th now. He's looking for 4th from his teammate, the 14. Reel still with momentum. He's coming back for 2nd yet again. Right on the bumper cover of the number 11 is that green 88 machine. We'll see if he can make this happen. Gets to the inside through the middle of 1 and 2. Can he make it stick? Still hanging on there. Good drive on the inside for the 88. Didn't think that line was going to be quite that strong. We'll see if he can survive off of 4. This is where the outside lane really has the advantage. That grip goes away toward the exit of turn 4. No one's loving this battle more than the 73 out front. He says, keep it side by side, guys. Keep that battle up. I want to get as much distance between myself and you as possible, and they're going to make that happen here if they keep the side-by-side battle. Right up against the quarter panel of the 11 is that 88, still side-by-side as they enter 1. Little bit of a scrape on the fence with the 11 off of turn 4 there. Not going to cost him any momentum, though, because he's still got just an edge over the 88 coming across the line. I said it might be a 5 and 11 rivalry, but this week it's the 88 and 11. What a battle as Kenny finally clears the 11 of Alex Wiggins for that 2nd spot. Now he's got his sights set on the 73, who's got himself about a 5 car length advantage in 1st position right now. Now the battle moves back a spot. We got the 14, Crank Bell to the inside of Alex Wiggins. Everyone trying to take advantage of that number 11 since the restart. Ooh, almost 3 wide there. The 11 gets a good run off of turn 4. 14, Crankville has to lift. He's going to give up not 1 but 2 spots. He's going to also surrender another spot to his teammate, the 31. Move Aaron Mack up to P4. He's going to go after Alex Wiggins next. Wiggins has the oldest tires in the field at the moment. He came in back on lap number 17. Aaron Mack came on lap 44 as we see the leader involved in a wreck. We see Emerson and also the 38 of Miller involved as the caution flies once again, taking out the leader. We'll go back here and see what happened. We had Kenny Reel to the inside of the 73. Side by side for the lead at the time. Oh, that's not going to look good. Taking a look back one more time. Let's see if we can get a better look from the rear of these cars. Like the 23, now the 88 begins to come up, and just left rear is the 73 on the straight. Race control definitely going to be having a look at that incident. It would appear the 73 held his lane. The 88 just drifted up into that left rear quarter panel, and around went both cars. What we're still looking for is right there, the aftermath. 38 piles in on the bottom and absolutely obliterates the front end of the 73. So from leading to potentially race ending, we'll see what the 73 has left of his race car after that incident, but I'm not holding my breath that it's going to be good news as we see right front might be towed out a little bit. No, that left front. You see the wobble there on that left front. That is not good news for the 73. That's going to be extensive repairs. Unlike some of the other cars with heavy front end damage, he will not be able to race the car in that condition at speed. Well, that debacle is going to hand over the lead to the 31 of Aaron Mack. Followed by his teammate in the 14. This is not an unfamiliar sight. If you watched the broadcast last week, these two led the way for the majority of race number 1 at Talladega Superspeedway. Once again, this week they find themselves out front here, nearly at the halfway point of this 170 laps of Iowa Speedway. See, Alex Wiggins finally came in to get some fresh tires. He's going to try out some fresh rubber on that number 11 car. Held on for a long time, considering his last pit stop was back on, I believe we said lap number 17 beforehand. Only had, 55 lap disadvantage on tires. I'd say he hung in there pretty well, all things considered. Aaron Mack leading him to the start on the outside. His teammate Crank Bell to the inside. Alan Blue finds himself P3 on the inside with the 03 to his outside. Green flag in the air. Good launch for both cars. Crank Bell's going to keep it tight to his teammate on the inside. Going to give him just enough room to clear, though, as they enter turn 1. You see Dylan Schultz, that yellow number 03, be strong on these restarts, so watch for him to go on the attack against the 14. All these drivers giving it all they have on these restarts, trying to maintain track position. Pretty wise as we see Devin Maines gain 1 spot. He and Alex Wiggins going at it just behind. We'll take a look back at that battle. 5 to the outside, gets a little bit of the fence off of 2. Tangles with Tarnowski, off the nose of Tarnowski. That's going to be the 5 in the fence. Hard into the wall for the 5. And I believe he bounced off and continued on and hit the outside wall as well. Take a look back at the incident. Gets a piece of the nose of the 28. Trying to get the car gathered up. has to lift. The 28 just gets in the back of him, sends him to the inside fence. Then out to the outside barrier as well. Surprisingly, still doesn't look like a whole lot of damage on that 5 car. Might have got a lucky break with how he hit the fence. Steering still looks straight. Might still be in this thing. With the rate we're losing cars, I wouldn't count anyone out at this point in the race. Laps led under yellow, yes, they will get 1 point for leading a lap. Doesn't matter how you do it, you will get the 1 bonus point for leading a lap. Aaron's been excellent on the restarts on the outside. We saw Craig get pretty close to holding that position on the inside on that last restart. Very, very hard to do. You have to time it and almost jump just a little bit in anticipation of when the lead car is going to go. If you choose just to follow, react based off of what they do, you're probably going to come up just a little bit short. He almost timed it perfectly, but just not quite enough on that inside lane to hold even with him, unfortunately. We'll see what he can do on this upcoming restart. Get this back live. There we go. Lap 81, nearly to the halfway mark of tonight's race. Hopefully we can get a green flag run in here. I want to see what these guys can do once the tires are old. We saw Wiggins was able to do quite a bit on those 60 lap old tires on the previous run. I say 60 laps old, but I don't think he probably had more than 35 green flag laps on those tires, which might explain some of the performance he was able to squeak out of those things. Yeah, for those of you who don't know the history of Iowa Speedway, fairly new track, one of the newest on the NASCAR circuit, actually designed by former NASCAR driver Rusty Wallace. He was called up. Bit of an ambitious plan to build a racetrack in the heart of Iowa. He said, well, I want something short. I want a 7/8 mile track because nobody else has a 7/8 mile track, so we're going to do something like that. And I want variable banking. I don't want it to just be the inside line being dominant all the time. We're going to put a little bit of banking on the outside so the outside is racy as well. And we're seeing that on full display. Inside lane can make passes. Outside lane can make passes. Plenty of different options for these drivers to use. And we've seen throughout the race plenty of options for them to come together on the exit of the corners as well as they get side by side. I'm sure this probably won't be our last caution. So we'll have to stay tuned to see what happens here. We see Brendan Odell. He was in a wreck earlier on in the race. Finds himself P4 now. That 16 looking mighty good up front. Big resurgence for the Royal Pegasus Motorsports guys. All 3 of them inside the top 5. Look at that. Getting ready to fire off. Pace truck is off. Mack leads him to the start. Gets a good jump. Bell maybe missed a shift there. Maybe shifted a little too early. We saw held with him through first gear, then lost a little bit in second. 31 out front by several car lengths already. Crank Bell healthily in second place as the teammates, RPM teammates, all 3 of them go at it for third and fourth. Side by side for fourth spot now is Odell and Birch at the inside, Odell to the outside. Odell going to clear with that momentum on the high lane. Wiggins going to follow him through in the 11, and here comes Brian Tarnowski in that rainbow-colored number 28. Attempting to take that spot as well. He's got momentum. We'll see if he's able to clear. A little bit high on entry there. That'll give him a good run off the corner, though. And he will clear for that position. Here comes Daniel Jensen making a bit of a resurgence after being involved in a wreck earlier on as well. 3 wide just in front of them. Take a look at this battle. We got Alan Blue on the bottom. We got Alex Wiggins on the bottom. Blinking, that's a bit of a dangerous thing. Right now we got Brendan Odell and Crank Bell going at it for second place. Crank hold them off for now. Brendan trying to make a run here. He's got his teammate right behind him. Wiggins trying to make a run on the inside. Lost a little bit too much momentum to complete the pass on Allen Blue, though. Meanwhile, up front, look at the gap here to first place. He's got about a 10 to 12 car length gap for the 31. He is running away with this thing so far after this restart. Coming down to lap number 87, Crank Bell second, Brendan Odell third. His teammate Allen Blue in the 23 machine. He's running fourth position as the battle here heats up for fifth. 28 of Tarnowski to the inside. We got Kenny Reel sticking himself on the inside as well. Get a follow for now. He's going to send it up the middle lane as we see Dan Jensen in there too. Looking for an opening to make a move here. Hasn't found it yet. Tarnowski taking himself into the fence here. Caution comes out. Tarnowski gets it stopped before any major damage. Unfortunately, I think Dylan Schultz in the 03 got quite a good piece of the outside barrier. I think that right front tire is hardly hanging on. I think he broke the whole hub assembly on that 03 machine. He's unable to steer it at all. Oh, you see the left front as well. You see the wheel wobble. I believe the hub's on both the front. Yeah, just no steering left in that machine. Trying to make it back without towing. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that, though. Yeah, that'll be caution number 9 so far for the evening. Pardon me for the silence. Just trying to get a little bit of information out there for you guys. Tuned in. We are trying to set a record here for cautions at Iowa Speedway. So far, it's been pretty comfortable running out front, though, for the 31, 14, 16, and the 23. Let's see if they can hang on to that for now. Best place to be, it would seem, is out front, and that's where the 31 is intending to keep it so far. Great race so far for Aaron Mack. We see, like we mentioned before, all 3 RPM teammates, the 16, the 23, and the 33, all hanging out inside that top 10. It'll be a great recovery week for those guys, sitting down toward the bottom of the team standings, but that'll be a great gain for them if they can hang on to what they're doing right now throughout the remainder of the race. You're just past the halfway mark now. Coming across for lap 92 this time by. Frank Bell electing to come in on this caution himself. Let's see, Barry Knapp as well in the 42, and Brian Tarnowski in the 28, all electing to come in to take 4 fresh General Tire tires. on these race cars, and we are under green once again. Great launch for Odell on the inside. He's keeping it right alongside the 31. He's going to take a shallow entry into turn 1, though. See if he's able to make that stick. Not quite enough momentum there. 31 is able to clear. Wiggins coming to the outside, getting a huge run of steam. Try to blitz around the outside of the 16. 16 of Odell holding on pretty stout for that third place, but unfortunately he's going to have to give it up. He slides in line in front of his teammate Alan Blue for third. Battle now for fourth. Kenny Reel on the inside trying to take it from Alan Blue. He's going to get it from Blue. Now he's going after the 16 as well. Couldn't quite take both spots. That outside lane going to be hard to take down. But if anyone can make it happen, it is this 88. We've seen him running the bottom most of the day with some pretty good success as he finds himself within the top 5 yet again. Alan Blue all over the back deck lid of the 88 as well. Trying to make something happen, but he's under fire from his teammate, the 33 right now. That'd be Greg Burchett looking for that 6th spot. Still side by side for fourth as another battle rages behind them. We got Crank Bell to the inside of Burchett trying to make that clear, but he's got his teammate, the 23, where as we see Crank Bell go around, self-spin into turn 1. Looks like everyone's going to make it through just fine. Everybody pushing as hard as possible on these early laps after the restarts, trying to get that track position. Unfortunately, just pushed a little too hard here for the 14 this time. Mac making that high line work all night. Absolutely. Those restarts, he's electing to stay up there. I think the inside line can work, but I think we see more momentum carried on the outside lane on those restarts. You can definitely clear second place if you're restarting on the inside lane, but if you don't clear them, that's where things get interesting, because you see after a lap or two that high line just comes in and gets rolling pretty good, and it is really hard to take it back once you get someone to your outside. Like Mac's going to come into pit lane now for service. Looks like everybody else is going to stay out. Mac Les came in on lap number 73. Going to come in for service, fresh tires and fuel. Keep in mind that fuel window somewhere between 75 and 80 laps, depending on how many cautions we get. So probably anywhere between 75 to 85 laps. So this stop should mean that 31 can make it all the way on fuel. And remember what we said earlier about maybe a 2-tire stop, just those right sides, making it happen later on in the race. He's taking all 4 for now. That means he's going to have pretty fresh tires toward the end of this thing. Those left sides, remember, still in the 90s. After a couple practice runs in testing early on in the week, saw those left sides hanging in there pretty good, so might be a good option, especially if you're a little bit farther back in the field. If we have another caution towards the end of this race, and maybe you're Barry Knapp, maybe you're Max Bauman, find yourself a little farther back in the field but still on the lead lap, I think that's a viable option to get yourself some track position. And if you can just hang on for a few laps on that fresher rubber, I think you can make things happen. We saw it happen with the 11. Alex Wiggins held on 55 lap old tires. That was all 4 tires being that old, so I think having 5% tire degradation on the left sides and then fresh tires on the right side, you might be able to make something happen. But the opportunity for that strategy has to present itself. Might have to get a opportunely timed caution in order to make that happen. We'll see what they get. We've had cautions sprinkled all throughout this race so far. This will be caution number 10 for the evening. There's a bit of a bet going on within the Discord chat between the drivers tonight, whether on the over-under of 9.5 cautions this evening, and we're officially on the over now. quite sure what happened here. Might have a bit of an issue for Kenny Real. We see he only showing out. Same thing with Dan Jensen. Not sure what happened with those drivers. Maybe some disconnect issues. Still showing a couple laps down at this point. Back to the front, though, getting ready for the restart. Wiggins going to take that inside lane. 16 spins him just a little bit on the start. See, he backed up to the 28 of Tarnowski, and now he's got his teammate Greg Burchett to the inside. We'll see if the chef can take over second, and he does. He's going to clear his teammate off of 2. Tarnowski really getting irritated with the 16 back there, being held up big time off of turn 2. A rare spot. We see the 31 a little bit farther back now. He's not leading this restart. He's going to have to survive and make it to the front. Try to make something happen on the inside now. He's got that fresh General Tire rubber on his race car, and he's going after Tarnowski to the inside. Gets to his quarter panel. Doesn't have the momentum to get there, though. Can't quite make it happen off of 2. Let's see what he can do off of 4. Still going to settle for 5th right now. Passing is at a premium at this racetrack. Not the easiest thing to do. We see a sudden burst of speed out of Burchett. He's going after that P1 spot like it owes him money, because here he comes to the outside, getting a great run on Wiggins. Just a light little brush of the wall coming off the corner. That just means you're making speed here at Iowa. Wiggins says, okay, you'll go high, I'll go high too. Reaction by the 33 was to go even higher, but there's a good amount of bumps over where the fan tunnel is, and the big impact off of turn 4 for Burchett that time. That's going to make him 3 wide going into turn 1. We got Tarnowski to the inside trying to take over the spot from the 3 wide teammates for the RPM guys. All 3 of them getting together, taking each other out. We see, I believe, looked like the 30 back there, but I'm not sure if that's accurate. I saw silver. That might have been Devin Maines. Caution comes out yet again. We'll go ahead and take a look back at who was involved in this one. It was the 30. 30 got caught up in it. He is currently several laps down, if I am not mistaken. And 30 currently riding P19. Let's go ahead and take a look at this accident. You see the teammates going 3 wide here. All 3 of the RPM guys going at it for that 4th spot. Unfortunately, it looks like they got caught together coming out of the corner. Oh, you see Odell just loses the nose of the race car. It starts twitching and goes high. It gets into the side of Burchett. Looks like Alan Blue escapes, but unfortunately the 30 behind them does not. He checks up and gets turned by the 13, it would appear. And the big loser out of that might have been the 13, honestly. Jake Doffing, the 13, looks like he got a pretty good piece of the outside fence under that. Let's see if the steering's still straight on his machine. Hopefully it is. Oh yeah, the right front on that number 13 is looking just peachy, other than a little bit of paintwork damage. Let's highlight some big movers today. We got some guys who have made some big moves so far today. Might not have had the best run during qualifying, but we got quite a few of them up front. Tarnowski, Brian Tarnowski in that number 28, he's up 15 spots on the day so far. Greg Burchett in that 33 is up 12. His teammate Brendan Odell right in the same region. He's got 13 spots up from his qualifying position. Barry Knapp in the 42 doesn't have the prettiest looking race car, but he's still up 13 spots on the day, as well as Devin Maines. Devin's car still not looking terrible. looking pretty racy there. If he can get himself back toward the lead lap, we'll have to see what he's able to do. I believe currently running let's see, 2 laps down. He's got time. I think he might make that happen. He gets a couple more cautions. See what he's able to make of the day. Still currently in the top 10 despite being 2 laps down. That thus has been the carnage throughout the day so far at Iowa. Who would have thought the unsuspecting little short track in the middle of farmland would be such a meat grinder for these guys this weekend, but so far it has been quite the test of endurance for these guys, keeping the cars in one piece, keeping themselves out of trouble. Alex Wiggins going to lead him to the start in the number 11. Pace car going to pull off in just a moment. See that 31 on the outside. I think that's dangerous, letting him have that outside. Good jump for the 11, though. Looks like he's going to clear Mack. That he does. 2 car lengths to the lead goes Wiggins. Mack's going to fight for the second spot with Tarnowski to the inside. Neck into turn 3. Let's see who's got the momentum to make it happen. A little bit of a slide there for the 28. Might cost him momentum off the corner. Still hanging on that quarter panel. Not quite enough, though, as 31 clears as caution flag flies again. Back and looking at that replay, we got the keeping an eye on the 63 and the 89 of Max Baumann. Ooh, looks like Max just got too much wheel and too much throttle, trying to keep himself off of the 16. You see he got real sideways off the corner, trying to keep clear of him. Alan Blue piles in. That front end of the 23 is not going to be happy about that impact. T-bones the 89 as he comes across the nose. Whoa, Devin Maines just avoiding that. We see Randall Peasley. I think he caught... Oh, he kept the car clean. Was able to get to the inside without any incident, fortunately for him. That car's still looking pretty clean here after 112 laps here. And the gauntlet that is proving to be Iowa Speedway. Taking a look here at the last pit lap for your leaders. Lap 73, Wiggins once again on the oldest tires out of the front pack. Last coming in at lap 73, running 40 lap old tires on that machine right now. Aaron Mack came in lap 97. Pretty similar for Tarnowski and Bell behind him. Everyone behind him, all the RPM guys, Barry Knapp, Max Baumann, Alan Blue, all lap 112 coming down this time for fresh tires. Late in the race, I think we're starting to establish our players for the end of this race. I'm liking the 11 and the 31, of course. 28 It surprised me with quite a bit of speed. He definitely gets a good run on these restarts. Is able to make that inside lane work pretty well for himself. 14 has good long run speed, we've found, but unfortunately for him, we haven't had too many long runs to work with just yet. Seems to be maybe struggling a little bit on the restart so far. Greg Burchett, all three of those RPM guys have shown some speed in the last couple of green flag runs. Barry Knapp still hanging on in this modified looking machine. Looking like a tour modified. You might see racing in the Northeast. With that front end missing off his race car. Still quite a bit of speed in that machine though. He's hanging in the top 10. Currently running P7. Still up 15 positions from the start of the race. Alan Blue getting that front end repaired. That car's looking nice once again. I think he'll be back up toward the front before this thing's over. And Max Bauman, look at that. He's got a front end on his race car again. Looking pretty sporty in the 89. Devin Main still sitting just a little bit behind the leaders. Getting ready to go green again. Alex Wiggins elects to the inside again, and it works for him again. He's going to clear the 31. 31, it looks like he spun just a little bit. Holding up his teammate, Crank Bell on the outside. Battle for second now. Tarnowski trying to make it happen on the inside. Not going to work. Both the 14 and the 31. Both those long shot motorsports drivers going to blitz around them, but not so fast. Here comes Tarnowski again to the inside of Crank Bell, down into turn 1. Great momentum through the mid corner. We'll see if he's got the momentum coming off. Not quite yet. Holds his position to the inside of that quarter panel. Let's see if he can make it happen off of 4 this time. Outside momentum proven just to be too much for that 28 to overcome. He's going to have to settle in P4 for now. Big gains mid-corner for that bottom lane. If you can make it happen and send it in deep enough on fresh tires, you can make that pass happen. But right now, I think he might have to look at other options if he's going to get around that 14. That inside lane just cost him a little too much exit speed. He gets the position mid-corner, but not able to complete the pass coming off the corner. Max Bauman back here. Looking to take away 6th spot from Greg Burchett in the 33. Good run on the inside here for him. Fresh tires for both of these drivers. We'll see who's got the willpower to make it happen, who's going to send it in deeper and spend those tires early on in this run. Field's starting to thin out a little bit. We'll see if we can get a bit of green flag racing. Knock on wood. Cross your toes. Whatever else you got to do. If you got a rabbit's foot, give that a rub for us. Hopefully we can get some green flag racing in here at Iowa. Getting it done is the 89. Move Max Bauman up to 6. He's going to set his sights on Brendan Odell for that 5th spot. Back out front, it's still Wiggins by 2. That 31 starting to make up a little bit of ground on the 11. He can get there, but what can he do with Alex Wiggins? He gets a nose to the inside, going to lose it a little bit coming off of 4. That outside momentum. I haven't really seen a driver... Haven't seen too many drivers try just going a little bit higher. I know you can in 3 and 4. 1 and 2 is difficult. Definitely have to time it right because there's that tunnel. The big bump for the tunnel in the middle of 1 and 2. That's going to cost you if you don't hit it just right. But if you're on fresh tires, you can make that line work if you absolutely have to. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone tries that 3rd lane up high to maybe make a move here. We see Alex almost making that 3rd lane work. He's taking a really wide entry into turn 1 and 2, trying to make that defense work on the 31. So far it is. Aaron Mack falls back a little bit out of 2. He's still 1.5 car lengths behind the 11 now as they enter 3 and 4. Cross the line this time. It'll be lap 125. Wiggins, Mack, Bell, Tarnowski is your top 4. Down to the inside lane goes Mac Wiggins to the outside. 14 to Crank Bell, starting to gain on his teammate. Might think about swapping spots here. See what the 14 has for the 11. 14 taking a bit of a different approach. You see a really late entry. He's backing up that corner quite a bit. Entering really high, really slow, and then he's just turning down the racetrack late in the corner. He's getting massive runs off the corner. You see he closes right up to the back bumper of the 31 nearly every time. Many different strategies at play, several different lines at play through all three of these drivers. Alex Wiggins taking a pretty consistently high line all the way around. The 31 trying to make that bottom and mid-bottom lane work. 14 Bell backing up that corner, starting up high, cutting it in mid-corner, and down low he goes. You see right there, checks up early. You see Tarnowski almost getting the back end of the 14 on the entry to 3. Trying to make that strategy work. Let's go on board with that number 14 as he tries to work around his teammate in the 31. And just as we do that, caution flag is out. It looks like we might have a little bit of a technical issue with our timing and scoring for race control, which is the reason for the caution at the moment. Looking to get that resolved. That'll actually play into the hands for some of these guys for late race strategy as we come up on 42 to go right now. It'll be 41 at the line. Down pit lane comes Alex Wiggins. Might have overshot his pit box just a little bit. We'll see if that costs him in the long run. We'll see who gets out first. Craig Bell, Alex Wiggins. Looking at both these cars. Hasn't been very long. Remember, most of these drivers came down right around lap 113, 112. Maybe just right side tires. No, both looking like they're going to take all of them. Out they come. Crank Bell leapfrogging his teammate, though. 14 gets ahead of the 31. That's going to shake up this mix just a little bit. We saw Crank starting to have a little bit more long run speed. I think the 31 might have been holding him up just a little bit on exit. We'll have to see what he can do with the opportunity now as he's going to come out behind Alex Wiggins. Several cars electing to stay out. That'll be Brendan Odell, Greg Burchett, and Alan Blue. All three of those RPM guys going to stay out on track. Last coming in lap 112 for all three of those cars. Still pretty fresh rubber on the 16, 33, and 23 so far. It's going to be the Royal Pegasus Motorsports guys leading them to the green flag. Brendan Odell, I believe, is going to fire off. He's elected to choose that outside over his teammate Greg Burchett to the inside. Alex Wiggins stacked up on the outside with fresh rubber on that number 11. See what that 30-lap difference of tires, or 20-lap difference of tires makes in the restart zone. 16 fires off. Great restart for the 11 on the outside as well. He's going to clear Burchett for second. Taking that extreme outside lane. He's going to hook it all the way around the outside 1 and 2. Riding it over the bumps. He might have to lift. No, he's not going to. 3 wide off of turn 2. It's going to be Alex Wiggins from third to first on the restart. Great restart for the 11. Now the battle behind them for second. Brendan Odell, Greg Burchett, Odell to the outside, 33 of Burchett to the inside as we see Aaron Max sticking it up the middle in turn 1. Ooh, tightening up there. He slides in behind the 16, avoids any trouble. He's going to move up to P3 now for the 31 of Mack. Stuck on the outside behind him. Crank Bell struggling on this restart just a little bit. Under fire from the 89 of Max Bauman as a 33 of Greg Burchett continues to slide toward the back on the inside lane. The longer we run, the higher they start to run on the racetrack. As we predicted would happen, this track's starting to gain rubber on the outside. To see the middle lane and the outside lane starting to darken up just a little bit, using that extra banking on the outside. Ooh, Max Bauman nearly into the back end of the 14, coming off a 4. Aaron Mack back up to P2 with his sights set on Wiggins. He's going way up high, trying out the Wiggins line up on the high side. We'll see if he can make any ground on the leader. He's clear by 5 over third place Odell. Odell all the way up against the fence through 3 and 4. Starting to see experimentation throughout the field. Everyone trying to figure out what's going to make speed for them on this hopefully last sprint to the finish. Right now, it's looking like a battle between the 11 and the 31. Can they make the tires last? They got 35 laps, 34 laps now to figure it out. Crossing across the start-finish line, lap 139. Go ahead and throw the gap up here on your screen and keep a track of where they run. It looks like that 31's starting to close in a little bit. Look at that exit speed, gains nearly a 10th off of turn 4. Can he make anything happen once he gets there, though? We've seen this battle time and time again between the 31 and the 11. Tries going to the inside, can't make it stick, can't overcome the momentum of that outside lane. Bit of a switch up here for the 11. He's going to go down and take away that inside lane. And he gets the 31 tight. He gets a little bit of the fence coming off of 4. 30 laps remain now as they cross the start-finish line. Still closing in, but still not able to quite get there as the 31 of Mack. He falls back a little bit through 1 and 2 that time. A gap now 0.4 of a second for Alex Wiggins. Jumping back behind them, Max Bauman's got a fight on his hands between himself and the 28 of Brian Tarnowski. Devin Maines, look out. He's back on the lead lap in that number 5 as well. Lurking behind, trying to see who's going to get the advantage in this battle. So far, it looks like it might be Bauman on the outside. That inside lane just not able to overcome the momentum. Tarnowski, if anyone's going to do it, he's going to. He's been dedicated to that bottom lane for most of the afternoon so far and continues to make it work for him, but unfortunately, he's going to have to surrender that spot. He finally gives way and decides he's going to try that high lane, trying to go back for a crossover on Bauman. It's not going to happen, though. P4 for Max Bauman, looking for the comeback for Team Highlands Racing, the only survivor left in this race at the moment for that team. Tarnowski not willing to give up, still making runs on that inside lane, able to get to the bumper off the corner, but Max usually clears him by 2 car lengths at the end of the straight. He's got to look in his rearview mirror because here comes another car on the inside lane. Big send by the number 5 entering turn 3. Almost gets the door of the 28. Devin Maines for Team Watson Racing. Supposed to have the Bully Dog Coffee colors on board this weekend. He's got the teal on the wheels, so he's got a little bit of it on board this weekend. I think we might be having some difficulties since the iRacing update, some of the paint's updating, so I think we'll give everyone a pass for this week as we see a lot of the banners and things not showing up correctly for most of the drivers in the field. Out front, the gap continues to widen for Alex Wiggins. The gap now 0.7 of a second as he keeps running away from the 31 of Mack. 11 found some pace from somewhere. I'm not sure where he found the extra speed, but it looks like he's figured something out this run that no one else has because he continues to gap the field by nearly 0.5 tenth per lap. 31 might have pushed those tires a little too hard because here comes his teammate Crank Bell in the 14 around for second place. He's going to take a shot at Wiggins, but will he have enough time to get there? .31 really pushing tight at the moment. It looks like he's just about hitting the wall off of every corner, really having to lift in that 31 to keep the thing underneath him. Back here, Devin Maines taken to the inside of Max Bauman in the 89. Here they come into turn 1. Maines to the bottom, sending it in deep. Might clear, not going to put the slide job on him. Thought about it. It's going to be tight coming off of 2. Max going to retain the momentum for now. Maines is going to clear him through 3 and 4, though. He's going to move up the racetrack, block that momentum from the 89. Move Devin Maines back up to P4 after a wreck earlier in the race. About the midpoint of the race, we saw him with some pretty good damage to that race car. Now he's back in it, looking for 3rd. He's setting his sights on Aaron Mack. Keep an eye on that gap. He's got 0.5 second to make up on that race car, that number 31 in front of him. Can he make it happen? Gap to 2nd to Crank Bell, still hanging right around just under 1 second to 1 second. Not really gaining too much on the leader. Let's go ahead and ride along with Devin, and that's number 5. As he buries the nose of that number 5 to the bottom of the racetrack, looking for some ground on the 31. Gap now 0.4 of a second to 3rd. .2 the gap now. Down to 1 car length, 0.5 car length. He is to the bumper of the 31. 31, big lift through 1 and 2. Maines is there to the inside. Can't quite clear him coming off of turn 4. Here comes Mack back on the outside. Gets a 0.5 car length advantage across the stripe. But Maines going to send it way into turn 1 and 2 on the bottom. Moving up to that semi-high lane, trying to work some of that momentum, maybe crowd the 31 up toward the top. Trying to crowd the 31 up into the bumps where he's not able to hold in the throttle quite as well. He's going to clear him for 3rd place now. Gap to the lead, still 1 second for Crank Bell, just ahead of them. Longshot Motorsports driver, we told you he'd be a factor if we got a green flag run, and here he is. Putting distance on P3, still not able to make any ground on Wiggins. Both these drivers excellent on old tires, as we saw Wiggins demonstrate earlier on in the race, going nearly 60 laps on an old set of tires and holding off guys with fresh tires admirably throughout the course of the run. Definitely going to be a threat now that everybody within the top 9 is pretty much on even, make that the whole top 10, it's pretty much on even footing as far as tire wear goes. But look at this. Devin Maines in the number 5 TVRS, or it's TWRS, my mistake. machine is making gains. Just 1.5 car lengths separate him now. Now down to the inside, sending it deep into 3 and 4. He gets to the inside quarter panel of the 14. Can he make it stick? Still hanging on to the corner panel. A little bit of side drafting across the stripe. Down even. They're door-to-door into turn 1 and 2. Let's see if he can make it happen off of turn 2. 14's got the momentum. Devin side drafting, trying to keep him back with him. Looks like Maines might make it happen off of 4. Not quite. Oh, he does. Puts a slide job on the 14. Devin Maines. From 2 laps down, all the way back up to P2 now. Let's see if he has anything for the 11. 42, Barry Knapp. Gonna go a lap down here. Already gone a lap down to the leader. Ooh, big block there. Craig Bell did not see him coming. Almost in the back of the 42 off for turn 4. Keep an eye on that gap. Gap to second place. 1 second, almost exactly. Back to Devin Maines. We'll see if he's got the pace to run down Alex Wiggins. Just 11 laps to go, coming to 10 laps. There's your gap right there. About 25 car lengths separate the 11 and the 5. That's the first time we've seen a sub-second gap in quite a while. Nearly a 10th gain through turns 1 and 2 and down the backstretch for the 5. Sending it deep in 3 and 4. We saw him enter on the bottom, slide up to that middle lane. I think he's using up every last bit of what these tires will give him on these last 10 laps. Right now, he might have the pace to do it. He's made up a 10th on the leader both of the last 2 laps. Gap now down to 6 tenths. 6 tenths and still gaining on the front stretch. Devin Maines might have something for the 11, but what can he do when he gets there? 5 and 11 rivalry coming out to play yet again. Remember last week, the end of the Talladega race. Late block by the 5, spins him across the nose of the 11, and 11 takes victory in race number 1. What will happen once he gets to the 11 this time? Will he be able to redeem himself and come back for the win here at Iowa? Now, just 2 tenths. 2.5 car lengths separate the 5 and the 11. The 5 dives it deep down into turn 1. The 11 comes down to block that inside lane that he's been using to such great effect. Costs him a little momentum. Gap is still half a car length. The 11 pinching him down to the inside. Maines gets position on the rear quarter panel. It's going to be the 11 to the outside, the 5 to the inside. He's hanging on to that quarter panel. 11 gets just clear across the start-finish line, but back into turn 1 and 2. It's going to be Devin Maines back to the inside, pulling alongside for door-to-door even racing off of turn 2. Still door-to-door into turn 3. Let's see if the 5 puts a slide job on him. The 11's going to have the run. 5's going to clear. Devin Maines from 2 laps down takes over the lead with just 3 to go here at Iowa Speedway. Both of these drivers on even tires, both pitting lap 129. But the 5 has found speed late in the race, and he has absolutely run down everybody from seconds back. Ran down the 11 of Alex Wiggins. He's looking for redemption here at Iowa, and it looks like he's going to get it. Caution-filled race somehow unfolds into a long green flag run at the end where we see an absolute heroic drive out of Devin Maines. That Team Watson driver in that number 5. One and a half laps remain, coming down to 1 to go. White flag is in the air. 1 more lap for the driver of the 5 machine. clear sailing so far. Nearly a second gap to second place. We see the 14 of Crank Bell maybe looking for that spot. Can he get there before the line? He's going to the outside of Wiggins. Wiggins must have spent the tires because, man, the 14's coming on strong, but Wiggins going to hold on for second. Devin Mays, a heroic drive back to first place, redeems himself after narrowly losing out on the win last week at Talladega. He parks that number 5 up front at Iowa Speedway. Rest of your top 5, Alex Wiggins brings it home in second. Crank Bell third in the 14. His teammate Aaron Mack back in P4. Max Baumann with a big rally also from several laps down. He comes back for P5. Greg Burchett, one of the RPM drivers in that 33, gets a solid finish, P6. Brian Tarnowski in 28, P7. Brennan Odell in the 16, P8. Alan Blue, P9. Barry Knapp rounds out your top 10 here at Iowa. All right, we'll give our drivers just a moment to cool down before we bring them up in the booth for interviews. All right, on deck in the green room, we've got your race winner, Devin Mays. We'll go ahead and bring him into the chat here. Devin, it's Adam LaVox up in the Boom Tube booth. How are you doing, Mr. Race Winner?
To be honest, shocked, because the whole first 3 quarters of that race, I could not figure it out. Like, I was genuinely slow. I could not find the line. I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. And then I found out that I wasn't driving the car hard enough. And then I got a couple penalties, went 3 laps down, and then got just enough lucky dogs, got back on the lead lap, took fresh tires. And by that point, I had kind of figured it out, running that second lane, and was able to get it done. So definitely feels good after last week.
Yeah, definitely the story of the afternoon. The 5-11 rivalry continues yet again for another race. We thought it had fallen apart after seeing you go 2 laps down early on, but you clawed your way back on the lead lap, and man, what a heroic drive from about 2 seconds behind the leader after that last restart. Ran him down all the way, got by him pretty quickly. We hadn't really seen anyone been able to get by Alex all day, but you somehow made that inside line work where pretty much no one else was able to. He was hanging on pretty strong on the outside, but I don't know if he didn't have enough tire or just, maybe drove it a little bit too hard. I don't know what the case was. I know the outside lane, he ran pretty far to the outside, like half a lane higher than a lot of other cars, and I wondered if maybe the track was a little bit too green up there and maybe cost him right side tires. I know a lot of guys did experimenting with that and in testing and such, but take us through that last couple, trying to get around him there. Did you really think you had anything for him once you got there, and was that something you kind of picked up earlier on in the race, kind of backing up that corner and then sending it in really deep on entry. We hadn't really seen driving it hard. I know Tarnowski was he looked a lot. Your driving styles looked pretty similar all day, or at least toward the second half of the race. Just really sending it down in that mid to low lane. But somehow you made it happen where no one else really was able to make it stick, and you kept that momentum off the corner, which is where I think you really had the difference between everyone else. So what did you find there as you were trying to get around him, and did you think you were going to be able to make that pass once you got there?
Well, that run, I was coming off an EOL, so I had to go through the entire field, and I was passing dudes left and right that way, just diving it in deep, standing on the brake, get it rotated and drive off. I mean, Iowa is just big Richmond, right? So if you kind of drive it the same way, it'll kind of work. But the bottom, I was able to pass getting to the bottom like you would on Richmond, but in clean air, like if I'm just making lap time, that second lane really worked. But kind of driving it the same way, I found out just based on my tires that I could drive it in pretty deep, and it didn't really hurt it like I expected it to do in this car. So I think getting by Aaron was when I really realized we might have something, because my delta was just green the whole way, and then when I got up to second, then I noticed I was about 0.2 of a lap faster than Alex. So I knew if I got there and just dove it to the bottom, get it to stick and drive off, that it probably would have worked. I figured it'd be a little bit tougher than it was, honestly. I'm kind of surprised. But he looked a little bit loose when I was getting up there to him, so that might have been it.
Yeah, I have to wonder if there was a difference in some drivers using more or less brake bias. It seemed like some drivers were really able to send it in, and the harder they sent it in, the better the rear end rotated. And that kind of looked like what was happening with you, where other guys, I feel like when they didn't send it in hard enough, it didn't kick that rear end out as much, and I think that might have been chewing up more right front. But yeah, I'll be curious to see what your tires look like after the fact. Those right sides were a little more even than everyone else, but either way, you figured something out that no one else did, and you made some major time. It was incredible to see how fast you got there, where you're thinking, oh, maybe he'll get there right at the finish, and then all of a sudden you went from gaining 0.8 a lap to gaining a second a lap to gaining 1.2 seconds a lap. And so that was just really fun to watch at the end. I'm really glad we finally got a green flag run toward the end to watch that pan out, because otherwise, I don't know, it would have been pretty hard to make that happen on the restart, not able to kind of get your groove going, because it seems like the longer we went, the faster you got.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I'm usually pretty decent at saving tires, but yeah, it was a good race. I was really surprised I was able to figure it out there to get the win. But definitely got to thank Bully Dog Coffee Company. I know they're sitting in the chat watching. So thank you for all the help you give me. And then the U.S. Army Esports, Team Watson Racing Setups. Yep, it was a good race. Pretty happy about it.
Definitely, congrats again on the win. We'll just have to see where the points fall after this week. If you might be pretty close to tied with Alex, we'll see how it shakes out. But overall, yeah, pretty solid day. So yeah, congrats again on the win, and we'll go ahead and let you go for the evening.
All right, have a good one. Thank you.
Thanks, Devin. All right, next we're going to bring in driver the number 11, Alex Wiggins. Sorry to interrupt the conversation there, Alex.
All good.
All right. Well, we looked like you had it in the bag after that last restart and about 20 laps into that run, but take us through that last couple laps. Did the car fall off? Did the tire, you kind of have a little bit more tire wear that run? What happened on that last run? We saw you be pretty dominant. Anytime you got the lead, it was pretty hard for anyone to take it from you, as we saw throughout the day, especially on the inside. Obviously, Devin figured out something no one else did, but overall, pretty dominant day. You probably be pretty close to leading most laps, if not absolutely having that. We'll have to give that a review after the race. But take
Yeah.
us through that last run. What you were seeing from your seat.
The last run was a roller coaster. I thought I had it locked up, and then I thought I was gonna get blown out of the water. I think that's what ended up happening. I was judging my pace off the guy who was in second to begin the run, and he burned his stuff up, which kind of led to me burning my stuff up, not wanting to get in dirty air. And the two guys at the end, I think it was Maines and Bell, they both saved tires enough to get up there. And I didn't really have anything for Maines when he got to me. I'm just glad we didn't wreck. I'll say that.
Definitely, yeah. I was glad to see that come out green for that last run of the race. Finally able to see some of that strategy we were looking forward to. Unfortunately, you ended up at the back end of it this week, but like we've said many a time before, the 5-11 rivalry continues. Now you're both even. Someone's got to settle the tiebreaker in the future. So you got one, he's got one. I think we'll be seeing this grudge match for the top of the points board for most of the season, because both you guys have had a ton of speed. Both of you were out front pretty much all week last week, and obviously most of the day today. So just congrats on another strong run. A great points day for the 11 team. And yeah, anyone like to shout out or anything before we let you go for the evening?
Just Zach for everything that he's having to do to put this on, and you helping him out and doing the broadcast and everything else that you do.
We definitely appreciate it, and appreciate you coming out, putting on a show for us. It was a great race to watch. Maybe not from all the drivers' perspectives, but we definitely kept pretty entertained as onlookers. So yeah, thanks again for coming and racing with us, and we'll hopefully see you guys going at it again next week at Kansas.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, if it isn't the man who always shows himself at the end of the race, somewhere in the top three, it is Mr. Crank Bell, driver the number 14 for Longshot Motorsports. How you doing this evening, sir?
Hey Adam, I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing just fantastic. Well, it was an up and down day for pretty much everybody, but you see, your crafty self ends up in the top three at the end, able to save tires. We kind of called the shot at the beginning of the race, said look out for that 14. If we get a long run, which for a minute there I didn't think we were ever going to, if we get a long run, he's gonna come back. He's gonna come back on some good tire saving strategy and put himself in contention.
Yeah, that would have been nice. I definitely had a long run car. I'm not real good at driving tight race cars, and this ARCA car seems to be a little tighter than I'm used to, so I'm just inadvertently being over cautious to keep from burning the tires off. And when I figured out I could push it, I started picking up a little speed there. But yeah, like you said, we never had a long run to really take advantage of all that conserving I was doing.
Yeah, it definitely was. With the interview with Devin, he was kind of figuring out the same thing. You guys didn't really have a long run to figure out how much you could push, and the longer you went, the more he said he was figuring out that he actually it seemed like the tires were wearing a little more evenly and is actually getting, able to coax more speed the harder he pushed the car into the corner, whereas, he thought he was going to burn up the right front, as you would, but yeah, it looks like both of you kind of found out the same thing toward the end of the race. Unfortunately, he just had a little more track position to work with and was able to run down Alex for the win, but you came home with a solid position, and saw Aaron was doing pretty good throughout the whole day, too. I know he led quite a few laps, and so solid points day for Longshot overall.
Yeah, I hate it for Aaron. I mean, he had a really fast car, and I know he loves this track. I thought he was going to be able to pull a win out here, and I was just going to try to follow him around and get a podium. He got the wall a little bit out of 4, and I think it messed up his right front. Started falling off after that. Hate it for him, though, but Longshot as a whole had a good day, and hopefully we keep the team points lead and move forward. I'm not even sure where we're at next weekend. Kansas, maybe?
Kansas Speedway, yes, sir. And we got a little bit of a wild card to throw in there. We're going to have a different setup to throw at you guys before next week, so hopefully we get some practice in with that. Try to loosen these cars up a little bit because we know Kansas can be a right front tire burning nightmare, so try to make things a little more racy next week by getting a better setup in there for you guys. But yeah, hopefully the show continues next week, and we'll hope to see you guys continue your success. Another solid week for both of you. Good to see both of you up front again. You saw both you and you and Aaron dominate, pretty much the whole race last week. Unfortunately, came up just short at the end, but the performance is definitely there. You just got to find the results to go with it.
Yeah, it'll come in time. I mean, we're definitely got the skill set, and like you said, it'll come.
Yep, I always have to be aware of your team. As whether it was last week or last season with Kyle or this season with Aaron, you guys seem to be crafty and be able to outplay pretty much everyone on strategy and put yourselves in position every time. So definitely will come. We'll look forward to seeing you do well yet again next week at Kansas. So you have yourself a good evening. Anyone you'd like to shout out or anything before you go?
Oh yeah, just obviously the league sponsors we have this season: 614 Designs, Track Racers, Lavox Creative, new BoomTube channel. It's all awesome. My personal sponsor, T-Rex Express. Love having them on board and showing support. They watch all the broadcasts. Thanks to them and all my friends and family out there supporting me.
All right, awesome. Well, we'll let you go for the evening, get the broadcast wrapped up. Thank you so much. Congrats again on that top 3.
All right, we'll talk to you soon, Adam.
All right, that was Crank Bell, driver the number 14 for Longshot Motorsports. That'll wrap up our interviews for this evening. And look at that. He's not only is he a good driver on the racetrack, he's already taken care of the sponsors and everything for me. But yeah, once again, shout out to 614 Designs. That's actually our league admin, our league owner, Zach Miller, doing designs on iRacing. If you need a design, go ahead and hit him up on Instagram DMs or potentially message him on Trading Paints. Again, that's 614 Designs. And my own endeavor, Lavox Creative. If you need logos or anything done for your business, feel free to reach out to myself. And I would appreciate it if you give us a follow here on BoobTube. We're a rebranded from last season, from last year, trying to spice things up a little bit and provide a better experience for our viewers. If you liked what you saw today and last week, of course, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button, give a like on the video if you appreciated it. And once again, we're so happy to have you all here spending your evenings with us. And we'll be right back here next Thursday night. So that'll be next Thursday night starting at 8:45 Eastern Time. Once again, we'll be at Kansas Speedway. Should be a good race, 1.5 mile racetrack. These cars race pretty well there. We got a little bit of setup magic going on to hopefully make them race even better. So we'll see if we can settle that 5-11 rivalry at the front. We got 1-1 so far on the season. We'll see if we can make a tiebreaker next week. And we'll hopefully get some points standings posts out here on the YouTube channel throughout the week as well. So you guys can keep up on what's going on and be prepared for next Thursday when you come back here and hopefully watch again. So once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in here on BoobTube. As always, I've been Adam Lavox, and everybody out there, have a good evening. Bye-bye.